Welcome back to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, where Ford Trucks present the PENDA four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Summer Nationals, a part of the BF Goodrich Performance Series. What a most unusual day we have had here today. And I don't know if you can figure it out. You need a scorecard for sure. Here's Army with more on that.
Gary, a little deja vu. Barefoot and Bigfoot in the final. We just saw it, yeah, but they're going to come back and do it again because Barefoot was a quick loser from the previous round. Gary Porter was supposed to come out of a bracket and be a winner. He lost the starter. They tried to put it back together. There's a time in this sport, okay? They took all the time they had. The Bigfoot team let them have all the time they wanted. Meanwhile, Fred Schaefer and Barefoot was just like an old bear. He was sitting back in the back waiting for something to go wrong. It went wrong. He's going to the final. Can Dodge take their first win? Let's find out right now. They're on the line.
Well, you talk about Dodge taking the first win. Remember, this is the Bigfoot number 10. This is the latest two-frame truck as we take a look at Fred Schaefer and Barefoot. But this particular truck has yet to win. So it's going to be a first-time winner here this afternoon.
And I explained to you in the previous round, there's no love lost between these guys. They're going to rerun each other. But, Gary, there is one. Now Andy Brass has lane choice, and he goes over to the lane that Barefoot was in just a minute ago.
There's a look at the semifinal round when it was so close, but Andy knocked out Fred. Andy takes the victory by just a few feet to advance. And he was to go up against Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher. Gary once again be Bigfoot and Barefoot, but as you have mentioned, they have flip-flopped the lanes. Very close to the second set of cars, and it's Barefoot. Fred Schaefer takes the victory. But there was some slight contact. Now, is that going to be a problem?
Yes, definitely. The rule is you cannot cross into the other man's lane and make contact after the finish line. Let's see if the officials saw that. Dodge may have won the battle, but I believe they lost the war. Okay, the replay's coming up. Is there contact after the finish line? Is there an imaginary center line that the truck will cross over? You make the call.
All right, right here you can see that Fred Schaefer does indeed win by a fender.
That's the battle.
Let's look again. They're coming right at you. Now, keep in mind there's an imaginary center line between those two lanes. Fred, after he crosses the finish line, crosses that imaginary line and actually makes very slight contact there. And that's the war. There is Greg Fuchs down there right now talking to Fred Schaefer, and he is being told right now, hey, you've been disqualified. That is the ruling that we are getting right now. Once again, after the finish line, Schaefer crosses that imaginary center line right here and makes ever so slight contact. Let's go down to Army.
Well, when we started the show, we were talking about two teams that we knew were literally hungry for a win here at Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. One of them was the Dodge, that's Fred Schaefer. The other was Andy Brass and Bob Chandler's Bigfoot. Fred Schaefer, when it came down to the end, you went across the finish line first, but the word we get, DQ, the win's going to go the other side. How does that make you feel?
Not real well, Army. They said that I crossed the center line down there in the grass and touched Andy, and I told them there was no center line down there visible, and I think I did touch Andy. But that's the way the call is, and I'll go with that.
All right, you kind of live by the rules, and you die by the rules like a true gentleman. I know he is. That's the way he's going to take it. But Andy Brass, on the other side of the coin, you guys have worked awfully hard all year long. Hadn't been good luck this year, but luck did play a role today, and you're going to luckily take a win out of here.
There we have. You know, the truck's not been running the greatest for us. We've been having a lot of problems with it. We've been changing a lot of things. We come out here today, it seemed to run a lot better. We was making some changes to the truck. Truck started coming along to us. We went all the way into the finals, got up against Fred there. You know, Fred laid down a good run. He's been running real hard all year, you know, and everybody's running real good. We got down to the end. We did lose a round, but as it come down to the rule, Fred ended up and touched us after the finish line, and they say you can cross the finish line. They don't have no problems with that, but when you cross the finish line and run into the other guy, they're going to DQ you, and that's what happened to Fred today.
You know, and it's kind of interesting because both of these guys would much rather just win it on an all-out race. But, Gary, it's amazing that the old rule book played a role in this thing. But I will tell you one thing. Keep watching the show on Saturday and Sunday because this war is not over by a long shot. You know it, and I know it, and I guarantee you they know it. Back to you, Gary.
What a most unusual day here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. You couldn't leave your seat because things kept changing all the time. Our congratulations to Bigfoot and, of course, Andy Brass. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week for another edition of Trucks and Tractor Power. Now here's news of an exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.